Let's try and solve this sum out. What would be the duration of year if the distance between Earth and Sun gets doubled? Very simple. The options are 365, 556, 1032, 129 days. Okay, focus in one thing, that the value over here is too very high. Alright, now there's only one value which touches 4 figure. Fine. Let's progress now. Let's see how do we sort it out. We know the formula for critical speed is 2 pi r upon t, where r is radius and t is time period. Or t can also be written as 2 pi r over vc. Now we know critical speed formula is also gm upon r, root of gm upon r. So we just substituted there, and once we substituted there, what happens is we get t is equal to 2 pi r upon root of gm upon r. We squaring both the sides, we end up with this formula. Now this r goes up and becomes r cube, so t square is equal to 4 pi square r cube upon gm. So this has come up. Conclusion that we got out of all this is t square is directly proportional to r cube. Alright, now let us get into the sum. Let the initial distance between Earth and Sun be r1 and time period be t1. And let the distance be altered to 2r1 and time period t2. Applying the relation t square directly proportional to r cube, what we end up with is t1 square directly proportional to r1 cube, t2 square directly proportional to r2 cube. So we can write t1 square divided by t2 square is equal to r1 cube upon r2 cube. Now we know that r2 already mentioned is 2r1, twice the initial radius. So r1 cube upon 2r1 the whole cube. So what happens is this gets 8 r1 cube. So r1 cube gets cancelled. So what we end up with is 1 over 8. Alright, so 1 over 8. Now, so if I square root both the sides, it becomes t1 by t2 is equal to 1 upon root of 8. So if we take t2 this side, it becomes root 8 t1. We know our normal time period is t1, which is 365 days. That's what we are existing in. Okay, so therefore t2 is equal to root 8 into t1, root 8 into 365. That is equal to, now we know root 8 is equal to 2 root 2 into 365. Now if we again get back into our sum, the value, so this value definitely would be much greater than 730, because root 2 is 1.414. So it would be 2 into 365, that is 730, and root 2 is 1.414. So 1.414 into 730. Now this value is greater than, this value obviously would be greater than 730. Here itself we get an idea that the value would be greater than 730. But when we check out our options, there's only one option, which is 1032, which is greater than 500 or rather 600. So no need of going further into calculation. We got our answer here itself. Alright, so this value obviously we expected it to be much more than 730. Alright, so please don't waste time calculating answer, as it is got at this level itself. As in option, only one value is greater than 556. Save time for other numericals. Okay, so these are some of the tricks that you've got to apply when you are solving CET, JEE, NEET or whatever. Alright, save time for others, where you, when just by seeing the figure itself, by seeing this itself, you get an idea that the answer would be greater than 730. So only one option there, so that's the answer. Okay, so our answer obviously would be C.